then now you're also going to get the benefit of me, working on you and elevating your name and your face visibility, because that goes along with the project. But you need to have a budget, like she said, for at least that 3-month period. It does no good when you get a publicist, you've paid all of your money on that first month, but then now you can't continue the second or the third month. You've wasted your money, because there's only so much they can do in 30 days.
And don't underestimate the power of networking and getting out there, because a lot of my clients come to me via referral, but I can tell you like over 80% of my clients I signed at a party, right? And case in point, the client that me and Ashley shared, Mike Merrill. I don't know if you guys know Mike.
I love Mike.
He played Ty Washington in BMF, and he's also in the Black Hamptons. I never saw any of Mike's work. I just saw Mike everywhere. Like I saw him at a Sundance party, I saw him at an Oscar after party. He's this guy. He's really infectious, and he has this bright smile. He's charismatic. He came up to me. He knew who I was already. He's like, "Josh, man, I need you to be on my team." And I was just like, "I don't know who you are, but you're a handsome guy. Like, you know people who have that energy about them, that it factor."
Yeah, it factor.
And me and Mike just became like best friends. And I remember, I don't know if you signed him first or I said.
You signed him first. But I ran into at Sundance, and we were at Sundance together.
And we both said the same thing. We was like, "Yo, his energy is crazy."
And he played my mom's son, so I was like, I gotta sign him.
And he did the same thing. He had, I don't know if it was Amy he hired. Did he hire you?
He didn't, but he was coming to everything that I did. Especially, I do a lounge at Sundance. Mike was there, networking and selling himself.
And he had paid a
every day,
publicist.
And he paid a publicist. Yes.
And he got himself a team now.
So last question about the publicist, and I want everyone to answer this question. Is it more important that your publicist gets you into the parties, or is it more important that your publicist gets you into the trades and various other magazines that may not necessarily be trade related, but talk about your film and yourself as an artist?
I think all of it, yeah.
She's representing the project, and is it more important to get them in the party?
I'm going to tell you this. To me, I don't think that there's one more important than the other, because you need to get into the parties to connect with individuals, but you need to be in the trades and get placements so that you have something to talk about, so that you can reference, this person was just in Variety for their project, I'd love to get them into this party. Now they can get into the party because they have something that they can reference. If you try to pitch somebody, if I send somebody, unless it's just pure relationship and say, "Hey, I want this person to come into come to the party," they're looking like, "What?"
That was the genesis of my question about publicists, and then the party comments came, so I'm like, well, is it more important to be at the party?
Yeah, you need to be involved.
Yeah, they're both important, because at the party you're with people. Deadline is fine. I love a good deadline announcement. I think when you make it and you have that moment, it's a beautiful moment. But I read literally 50 deadline articles a day. Nobody cares about that. Once it happens, it's in the ether and it's gone. So you being at the party is people like, oh, you making an impression and having a relationship with the producer now. They're not, that producer that you want to work with, they are not checking for you in deadline. It's just what it is. Deadline is for you to have that moment of being like, yes, I made it in deadline. I have my projects announced. Now you go tell everybody that. But a publicist is really, I think, key for that relationship building. Like for my actor clients, I don't know if there are any actors in here, I deal with a publicist that I work with on awards campaigns. It's crucial. I had a client that played Young Celie in The Color Purple. So we were doing everything from Oscar parties to Gold Globe parties, all types of stuff, right? She needed to be in every single one of those rooms. Every single one. And we were in every single one because she had a fantastic publicist team and she paid that $3,000 a month, right? But she saved for that because as her team, we told her, we said the movie, we have to activate around award season, right? We have to activate around award season in a real way. And if Warner Brothers is not giving us budget to do everything because you're number 6 on the call sheet, right, where you have these mega stars in this movie, we're going to get transpo, but we're not going to get glam for the L Women in Hollywood event, right? So we got to pay for that glam. So we have to make sure, so I would work with a publicist, someone like Amy, to make sure that we have preferred glam and all the things.
Dion, I want you to speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I like a publicist who's intentional, right? I like a publicist to have a strategy for events. I like to have a publicist to have a strategy for if a new project is coming out, how we're keeping the old projects relevant, what's going on social. I think with digital, a lot of the time the talent is their own publicist because of the fact that they're consistently, always having to put out media. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said earlier, and I think that they've even touched on it, demanding that audience and having a community of people who trust you, right? All a publicist is going to do, a good one, like Amy.
Not all. All a publicist is going to do.
No. I didn't mean it like that. All a good publicist is going to do is come in and really support you and have a good strategy and help you drive that part of your career.
A publicist is a strategist. Understand that. That's what, if your publicist should be able to write well, they should know who you are and what your vision is and what you are selling and be able to build a strategy around that. If they can't do that, then you probably need to look for someone who does. Please understand, your publicist is not your buddy or your best friend who's been with you for a long time and they just know, who you are and they can go on IG. Yeah, they don't. Get someone who can build a strategy for you and that has relationships.
And they're also your mouthpiece when you get in
Oh,
trouble.
yes, they are.
Clean up around.
So you got to realize the publicist has various, we are crisis management, all of that. So that's why I say that's probably one of your closest relationships when you start building your team, because they really should know everything. So nothing surprises them, but they're going to work directly with your manager, with your agent, with your attorney, especially if it's a crisis management thing, because now we've got to strategize and make sure that the outcome is what we all want to see. That's financially it makes sense, and it makes sense for your brand, crosses every T and dots every I.
So we had a little conversation about as creatives of color and filmmakers of color and content producers of color, we would like to have a team that looks like us because they will likely be culturally connected to our project. So they're opposing views, so I want everybody to give their view on that. And every view is right.
I guess having a team that looks like you. I mean, look, I think it's like, it would be preferred. If I could clone myself 10 times over, I would. But I think it's important to have a team that best represents you and someone that you connect with, someone that sees your vision, someone that you trust and that you look at their work and say, oh, I like the way that they did this. Like I always tell people, like, if you want me to rep you, it's like, who do I work with that you like what I've done with their career? Like, you can't just want me to rep you just because you think I'm cool. Like, no, like I may do a bad job for you. So it's really important to just have intentionality with it. I think it's ideal just knowing, like, I came from CAA, so I worked there for a long time, and just knew, I was like, dang, there's not a lot of people in this side of the field in representation, right, that are Black, that are agents, and I knew I wanted to be in representation, but there's only so many of me, there's only so many Joshes, and that doesn't mean that there's not other good people out there that are really intentional, that know how to speak with and work with Black and brown voices. I think it's just finding people that you will feel like you have the support from, right? But you also gotta have someone that you feel like you respect, that you'll listen to, because this XYZ may be your passion project, but like I will tell my clients, like, I love this, but we're gonna have a hard time selling this, and that's fine as long as you understand that, but we're gonna have a hard time selling this, right? And so, but we have that rapport where I can be honest with them, right? And I can give them notes. So I think it's just finding somebody that you can be in lockstep with. And also it's like, all relationships are different. It's not gonna be your best friend per se, or you could be really close with your manager. Like I have some clients I'm really close with, and then some that we have like a really great business relationship and we keep it moving, and that's it, right? So I just think it's important to find someone that is intentionally excited about you and wanting to work for you and pitch you. And I get so excited about my clients. Like I'm shouting off the mountaintop why they're so amazing, right? So that's just the general rapport I think you should have.
Again, I think it's two parts to it. The real question you're asking is if you want a team of color, is asking, does this person get me? Does this person understand me? So you should want to have people who represent you, who understand your culture, who understand the things that make you tick, right? So that's first and foremost, and that's whether they're brown, green, purple, whatever color they are. But the one thing I will say that I noticed as a person of color, representing people of color, is that sometimes we uniquely understand things that our counterparts don't, and that our clients won't speak up for. For instance, for some of my clients, my guy clients got tired of always playing the basketball player or the drug dealer or the roughneck, right? So, but they were represented by a white agent at Gersh. And he's just like, well, this is great. You're going to keep doing this, right? And then there's the whole thing with the typecast that comes out, right? So sometimes that person who understands you will be like, well, can we do something that has a little bit more of a character arc, something that really shows a different side of him, right? Like early in Tasha Smith's career, she's a perfect example. She was a perfect example of having, early in her career, because we represent her now, was a perfect example of having representation that just kept trying to cut the same cookie. And it got to the set part where every actor in the world, well, not every actor, every consumer in the world would say, oh, Tasha Smith, the girl who always yell and curses, right? Because that's the only thing you know of her now, right? But we were able to kind of come in and diversify her portfolio. Now Tasha Smith is actually one of the most in-demand directors
Period.
in the industry now, right? And that all came from people of color coming in and be like, we see more than just the loud Black woman who curses a lot, right? For my African American female clients, I happen to know, because I had a mom, that if that wig ain't good, she's not going to feel good. No matter how many times that words come off the page, she's not going to feel good about herself. And I got tired of seeing the Black guys who look like they just couldn't find a barber who tapered the sides. Like, why look like he just got a cupcake on the top of his head? Like, what is going on? So I had to get into the macroeconomics of it all and realizing why is this happening. And you realize that glam, which always has to be union, there wasn't that many makeup artists and hairstylists of color, right? So we fought for this thing called Star Request, right? We fought SAG for that. Star Request says if you're number 1, 2, 3 on a call sheet, you can request your makeup artist and your hairstylist, regardless if they're in the union, right? That's a little known rule that a lot of people don't know about, and a lot of our people don't have our skin color, don't care about, right? I make sure none of my clients' wigs look crazy on screen. And none of my clients got crazy haircuts on screen, right? That Shamar Moore look, you know what I'm talking about. So, they not telling, which is a shame. We had to paste on cornrows, like it was a wig cornrow. That's important, right? Because you can actually get into your material, it's good material, but you don't feel confident about your material. You do better work when you're confident. So that's the way we spin it as lawyers. We just say, do you want the best version of this person? Then you want to make sure that they feel the best version of themselves. And that's sometimes where, having people who understand you, whether or not they're black or white, but having people who understand you comes into play.
That's some good wording, Josh. Thanks for that.
That's very true. I'm done.
I think in digital, yes. Like I think on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram,